So I've always wondered what went down.
He looks like a wooden doll now.
No, I think he's a dirty whore.
If you had to be in a throuple with and one other person, who would it be?
My assistant just walked out. My assistant literally just walked off the job. He's like, I'm so sick of you getting in trouble, celebrities. Hey everybody, it's me, Kathy Griffin, and welcome to Kathy Griffin Talk Your Head Off. And you guys, I have a guest. I'm so excited. This is my good friend, MEREDITH Lynch. Say hi, MEREDITH.
Hi everyone, I'm happy to be here. I'm usually a viewer, but today I'm here.
And I'm such a fan of yours. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest and say how we met. I stalked you on TikTok, and at my age, I never thought I would say that, but my very first day on TikTok, and I was very late to the game. Now I love it, even though it's owned by the Chinese government. I know.
Honestly, all the good stuff
What is it?
Right?
What is
Seriously.
it at this point? And you were making a video about Bethany Frankel.
Yes.
And she was upset with you.
She was.
And Bethany, I love you. I know you're watching, and we go a long way back, but it was a little juicy, Bethany. So I had to watch the video. I'm not picking a team. I'm not picking a team.
I mean, I'm the one in your living room. Let's just, like, that feels a little,
But
that feels a
Bethany,
little.
I did run into you at the hotel recently. Anyway, I am a little nervous about Bethany's reaction because Bethany, you can be, you tell like it is. But I was intrigued by the back and forth, which is she sent you a cease and desist.
She did. She sent me a cease and desist, and she said I could never talk about her again. And she said, if you tell anybody that I sent you a cease and desist, you'll be breaking confidentiality with me and you will be subject to further penalties, which I have now been told is not really
As someone
possible.
who's been in a lot of litigation, that's actually not how it works. Because wouldn't we all like to just send a letter to people going, don't ever disparage me in any way or talk about me at all? Anyway, I do enjoy a good beef. I've had many. Mine, of course, are with the president and Elon Musk, but currently you are in a beef with someone that I make fun of in my act because I can't resist, and I'm gonna get so much crap for this, but Matt Rife.
I did not know that Matt and I had a problem, but apparently we do.
I'm a little obsessed with him because when you're a stand-up comic, all my representatives are middle-aged white guys. And so I have fairly new representation because I was very blacklisted for a long time. And so they kept saying, well, can you be more like Matt Rife? Can you do crowd work? Which means when you kind of make fun of people in the audience or roast people in the audience. And I said, well, yes, of course, but that's really not what I do. It's not what I have won awards for and built a brand doing, but I get it. He's like the hot thing right now. So I started looking up his stuff. And then I started asking around, and I'm not making an allegation. I'm going to say that it's my understanding that I've heard the word on the streets is that he actually has a couple of dudes that look at the audience prior to the show, then go back and say like, oh, there's a lady in the third row with a wacky shirt on. And then they write like jokes they could make about her, which Matt, if that's the case, I'm sorry. I know I'm just an old lady, has been to you, but that's cheating. That's not stand up. The thing that I think is funny as someone who's very openly had a facelift. I mean, I don't even know why it was big news, but it was like on the freaking AP. Matt Rife looks physically very different. And I think that's fair, Matt. And I know his fans are gonna come for me, and I've known you guys already, but he looks like a different person.
He does have a new face, and that is what I pointed out. I just said, hey, this is sponsored by Matt's original face, which I think that's a very tame
and
joke.
You're a comedian as well. Matt, she's a comic as well. And so, we don't pick on girl comics. We are already at such a disadvantage, honestly. You don't know what it's like. You've got the fan base that we all wish don't punch down. You won. You already won, Matt Rife. You won the game of life. But the fillers crack me up because I can't figure out who he looks like. He sort of looks like a Kardashian now, and he was a good-looking guy.
He looks like a wooden doll now.
He looks robotic, is it? Or is it like a pool toy almost? And no, I'm just saying it's a lot of, I have surgery. I don't have fillers. I think he has.
I have a lot of fillers.
Okay, so
And that's why I think I can make fun of it. Like,
Yes.
you know what I mean? Like, what is that level in comedy where it's like you have the same thing?
Well, hello. People ask me if I can make cancer jokes, and I say yes because I had cancer.
Right.
So nothing's off the table. But I just think it's so funny that you, of all people, because you're such an intellectual, and that you would be in a beef with, of all people, Matt Rife, who, no offense, did not know who you were before this.
No, but I had seen that he had watched a couple of Instagram stories before.
Okay.
So there you go, Matt.
Okay.
I see you in the watching.
I don't even know how that works. So you're saying that I could go on my Instagram and see who watches my
Yes.
stories? I have no clue how that works. So have you heard of Raya?
Yes.
All right, so explain what Raya is.
From what I understand, Raya is like you have to be accepted to join. And I think in the beginning it was very celebrity driven. And so now
I've always heard it's celebrities.
Yes. Now I think though it's like people with money or but the world of celebrity has expanded so much.
It could be influencers,
Right,
it could be, but I mean, the whole idea to be accepted already on the D list is hilarious. So they accepted me for some reason.
How fast did it take?
I think it took 3 days.
That's not bad.
I don't even know the process. I can't imagine. And so I don't know how to swipe. I don't want to be swiped. I'm so old timey. Like, I just want to meet a guy in real life who will ask me out on a dinner date. But I guess that's not how things work. So I go on Raya, and I had a genuine Gen Zer with me.
Okay.
And so she was helping click things.
Yep.
And the first person that Raya suggested for me was John Mayer. You can't write it. People, you
God
cannot
bless him.
write this. I panicked and just either swiped him no or
Yep.
put an X or a whatever, not hearting me. Nothing, because that's just funny. Now I feel guilty because
Do you guys think you could have like made it work?
no, I think he's a dirty whore. And I say that as one myself. But I also think he's a good guy to his bro friends. And so I'm going to text him and like pre-apologize for talking about him, which as a comedian, I don't believe in doing. But I happen to have his number,
Okay.
which is weird. So I'm going to text him.
Well, what are we gonna say?
All right, what should it be? Like, hey, John.
Do you want to be in a throuple?
No, whoa.
Okay, if you had to be in a throuple with John Mayer and one other person, who would it be?
Former President Jimmy Carter?
Nice, dead or alive?
Either. I just loved Jimmy Carter so
know,
much.
I
I know he was a religious man. I'm sorry, Mrs. Carter. Well, she passed away
she's no
as
longer
well
with us,
because they
too,
were
yeah,
so in
yeah.
love. That's what I'm looking for. Is my Jimmy Carter on Raya? Probably.
Yeah, let's text him.
Hey, it's Kathy Griffin, the comedian, period. Listen, I just want to tell you, I talk about you on my YouTube show, so I'm doing a pre-apology, period. I may have called you a dirty whore because yesterday, for the first time in my life, I went on the dating apps and Raya suggested you for me, period. Now, John, I know I'm not your type, but I hope you take the jokes in the nature in which they were told, which was with nothing but love, period. I love that you were such a good friend to Bob.
That's beautiful.
Okay, I'll see you at like a charity function or something. You don't have to text me back, period.
No. We want him to text
In
us.
fact, don't text me, John.
Oh, come on. We want him to text us
Don't
back.
bother. You
Let's
could
see
never
if we can go to.
handle this kind of heat. We're supposed to be talking about private equity, and I'm rejecting John Mayer, who has no interest in me.
I love this text. I think it's great. I think send it. I think he's gonna text you back.
Okay.
Just hit the little blue button.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, did it send? Oh my
You
God.
guys.
What if he texts us back?
I don't know what. Well, I guess I'll be in a throuple with you. I mean, I just think the world of you. Is that how throuples start? Where you go,
I
I
don't
think
know.
the world of you. Have you ever been in a throuple?
God, no.
Me either. Never.
I wouldn't. I don't want to be judgmental, but that would not be the right for me.
No, I like the one-on-one. To me, that's the whole point. Is now that's not John's thing. John has been in like sextuples.
Polyamorous, probably at this point.
Absolutely. John Mayer for sure. He's got to be all the things.
Why do you think he's on Raya?
I would think a guy like John Mayer who gets quality women.
Right.
Also wants the hookup without a commitment and can probably get girls that are so excited it's John Mayer.
Yeah.
But if I were John Mayer, I'd be worried that she'd like secretly videotape it and release it.
He'd probably love that. Listen,
okay,
nothing does better for you than a sex tape.
I would do one tomorrow if John Mayer is willing.
He could be your Ray J.
Yes.
Wouldn't that
John
be
Mayer
great?
is my Ray J. In fact, let's just start saying there is a sex tape out there with Kathy Griffin and John Mayer, and it's going to be released soon by John Mayer himself.
Hey, he doesn't really do, John, like, don't take this the wrong way, but when's the last time you, like, recorded a track?
Come on, John. If you're going to be rolling with me, let's get the hit-making machine going again, especially for our sex tape, because we want the soundtrack to be something you can't miss and that you have to buy with the tape. I'm jumping all over the place because I'm so excited to be with Meredith, but I really do want you to explain private equity, and here's why. Because until I discovered her on the TikTok, I thought private equity was the same as venture capitalism. And I thought, oh, that's just a bunch of douchebag guys from Silicon Valley, because I love to make generalizations about groups of people. You schooled me. So tell us why private equity is so important and how it affects our everyday life.
Sure. Well, I will first say I am not a private equity expert. I did need a waiver to pass college math, but I have educated myself on it. And you know how I discovered it is because I saw that Kim Kardashian was starting a private equity firm. So I just typed in private equity bad? ?
Hold on. Jesus Christ. I didn't know. Chris, look, I don't know her. I've never met her. She's a burglar who snuck into my house, and I have no idea what she's talking about. Now my nose is running.
I will say this, Kim and
I love
Chris.
you, Chris and Chloe. You know I do. Text me if you're mad.
I don't have as big of a problem with your private equity because you're mostly doing direct to consumer.
Are you talking directly to Kim?
I am talking directly to Kim.
Okay.
But I will say this, Kim. If I were you and you're gonna do private equity, that is not the best game to be in. Direct to consumer right now is not having the best moment in private equity. So here,
even one of my dogs is leaving. They're so scared. One of my dogs is like, I am not
Chris
part
is already
of this.
like at the
We are not
door.
Kardashian bashing.
Well, let me explain what private equity is and also the difference with
I don't
venture
think you guys
capital.
should love Rick Caruso though. Like,
Oh.
that's a conversation we should have. You
That's
guys.
another one.
That's just my opinion. Just my opinion.
Well, how about Gwyneth Paltrow? By the way, I'm reading the Gwyneth Paltrow book.
How is it? Really? Is it unauthorized?
Yeah, it's unauthorized.
That's what I like. I like unauthorized and as made up as possible. My assistant just walked out. My assistant literally just walked off the job. He's like, I'm so sick of you getting in trouble with celebrities. Paltrow, we're just talking about you.
Can I say one more thing though?
Yeah.
First of all, I'm actually really enjoying the book and there's some things about Gwyneth that I really respect and admire. Gwyneth, I'm going direct to you right now.
Good.
But the other thing is, I'm like, whatever Harvey Weinstein did to her
Yeah.
is, I think, worse than she has let on.
I agree.
In my opinion.
I agree.
In my
that-
opinion,
that breaks
allegedly.
my heart.
Because
Well, at
there's-
least he's in prison where he belongs.
Yeah. Did you ever meet Harvey?
One time, I sat next to him on a dais at the Quentin Tarantino roast, which was like the most A-list thing I've ever attended in my
Yeah.
life. And Uma Thurman was to my right. And Harvey was to my left, and I didn't know him. And he said, you know, my wife has a design line. And I said, yes, Georgina Chapman. Of course I know who she is. And he said, she should dress you. And I thought that was such a weird opener. And I was like, okay. And I was just a dumb actress, and so I didn't know any of the stories. And I was thinking, oh, I wish I could be put in a movie. But Uma got up and went to the bathroom for like 45 minutes. And now I have honestly wondered if she sensed something, because I saw her give a red carpet interview one time that was fascinating, where they said, what do you think about the allegations, having been in so many Miramax films?
Sure.
And she said, it's something like, it's so deep, I cannot even put it into words in a format that would be appropriate for a red carpet, but I will have something to say. So I've always wondered what went down with Uma Thurman as well, because I thought she was just being nutty. But I should have thought, like, oh my God, Harvey Weinstein was to my left. I have a lot of stories, you guys. Okay, so back to private equity.
Yeah, sorry, we got a little sidetracked.
But it does affect everyone.
It does.
Go ahead.
Maybe not. Well, actually, yeah, it does affect Harvey Weinstein because Harvey, I know you guys are all watching this together. Do you know the grip that they have on the prison system? We'll talk about it. Oh, private equity is all over prisons.
Of course
Okay.
they are.
So
The prison system. That's where Kimberly Noel Kardashian tries to do good work. Maybe, I'm not saying she's solved.
you know what? She's done some good stuff. So what private equity is it's basically a business model. And the way that it works is that a group of investors will pool their money together and then they will purchase a company.
Like,
For example, let's use the top you have on. Isabel Marant, I
Yes.
believe, is now owned by private equity. So they usually come in and buy like a portion of the company. They don't always buy the entire thing, but they usually then have like voting rights on it. And here's what happens. A lot of the time, not all of the time, but a lot of the time. What we will see happen is that when an outside company comes in and takes something over, they become about like increasing the prices, making it harder on the staff to like get their job done.
So they fire people. They do a poor job. They outsource to other countries, which we talk about a lot.
Yep.
And we brought up Isabel Marant just randomly because I'm wearing this shirt, but I got it from Saks, so it was expensive. And there's no hem on the sleeve. I mean, someone just took a pair of scissors, and it was like an expensive shirt.
Yeah.
And so I actually just happened to randomly say, "Do you think Isabel Marant was bought by private equity?"
And I was like, boom, 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 boom.
Yes, because she made this really great video about how, do you guys remember, if you're my generation, you remember 9 West? And it was in every mall, and it was like mid-level. It wasn't super highfalutin, but it wasn't like dollar store at all.
No.
And everything there, you made such a great point. Everything was lined, and it was really good quality, because it didn't even occur to a company to just take a scissors and make a not even hem.
Or like when you see those like sleeves that instead of having like this have like that billowy thing, that's a sign, like that's always like a sign of cheap production. But I'll tell you like a place where private equity is really hitting, and it's quite sad.
Okay.
And that is in the veterinary world. So a lot of veterinary practices are getting bought up by private equity. And what we're finding is that they're increasing the prices. They're making people get services that they don't need. And as you know, like people will do anything for their pets.
And also it's expensive to have pets. I mean, there are a lot of unhoused people here in Los Angeles, and many of them have pets, and I think that's great, but it costs a lot of money to have pets. And there's surgeries they need, et cetera, et cetera. So it's heartbreaking to think that that's an industry. And another one that you've talked about is, and I know because I had to ultimately put my mom in one, is a retirement community. And then my mom ended up getting dementia, and I could tell that private equity kept buying it because the quality kept going down. The staff was less, and my mom was getting sicker, and it was quite infuriating and heartbreaking. So how does that work?
So a group of investors will come in, they'll buy a nursing home a lot of the times, and then what happens then that they do that's so interesting, and this should be, some places this is illegal, we're working on it, they will actually have the nursing home sell the land and the buildings to like another company and then pay rent. And so what was an asset now becomes an expense.
And do you feel like they seek out communities that are vulnerable?
Oh, totally.
Like the prison system?
Yes. And so like they're very much in the prison system in terms of like food and commissary.
So explain to people how some people, my Republican friends, think that the government and the states pay for the prisons and they take care of the prisoners. And if you watch Fox News, they say, oh, they're treating all these criminals like kings and queens and giving them too much exercise and et cetera. But who really owns the prisons in America?
Well, I would say the actual amount of private prisons in this country is actually a little bit smaller than most people think. The thing is that most of the services in prisons are outsourced, and many of them are outsourced to private equity. So for example, this is like a great example that I always tell people is like, a private equity firm, they'll come in and they'll take over the commissary. So where you might buy like cup of soup or you buy stamps or whatever, and they will jack those prices up. They will also come in and take over the cafeteria, and it's been found that like when these places come in, people have way more incidences of like food poisoning and like moldy food and bad food. So then they have to go to the commissary.
And I would assume they're all anti-union as well.
Oh yeah, I mean.
They must hate unionization of anything.
Right, and so that's kind of what happens, and it becomes this vicious cycle. And it's really hard to get people to take these contracts, and the private equity backed companies are willing to take them. But you know what? There are great things that are happening at the state level to protect us from private equity. Here in California, there has been some great legislation passed around veterinary care about private equity firms.
And by the way, that's what it takes, you guys. So when you get mad about these things and you want to write the company, remember, it's actually about your vote. I'm always stressing the down ballot. Vote
state.
Down ballot, your state representatives, your congresswoman or man, your city council, all that stuff. That's that can change laws, and that's the only way to affect change. I wish I could say we can make one angry phone call, but that's just how I talk to John Mayer. what is the best way for people to get a quick explainer? Like, let's say somebody watched this and said, okay, I have an extra 20 minutes at the office today. Where can I go for a quick explainer about what private equity is so you can bring it up to your friends and family and explain it to them?
I would go to Private Equity Stakeholder Project. It's a nonprofit watchdog group that does incredible work on private equity. And one of the things they have now is they have a hospital tracker. So you can actually look up a hospital and find out if it's backed by private equity. And one of the big things is the big beautiful bill is probably going to make it like easier for places like private equity to take over hospitals. Oh, I have to tell you this story.
That's why it matters how you vote, everything, not just the presidential. Right? Elections are every year, not every 4 years, not every 2 years, every year.
You know, right now is a great time to just like say, after you watch this episode, I'm also just gonna check my voter registration.
Make sure that you're registered and you're registered correctly.
But you know, in Pennsylvania a few months ago, right outside of Philly, there was a hospital that was taken over by private equity. They drove it into the ground and it closed. So like a week later, Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania, was having a press conference about how horrible this is with all the doctors and all the nurses. As this was happening, a woman pulled up out front and was like, hey, I got to take my baby into the emergency room. She's stopped breathing.
As the press conference was happening?
And they were like, yeah, this closed a week ago. But she had no idea because you wouldn't necessarily know.
Guys, you can't lose your hospital. Think about that.
Right?
We need our hospitals.
Exactly. And so thankfully there were doctors and nurses there who were able to save the baby and then transport the baby. But that's what we're talking about. Like we are talking about hospitals that in the
We're talking about life and death, by the way.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, it can be like, oh, it's so annoying when it's like the company with the shirt or Toys R Us or, you know, a lot of other famous examples, Red Lobster. But when it comes down to like, especially like, you know, we have an aging population and we're going to be more reliant on nursing homes. And so like, we want people to be in places that have good care. And also I will say it's nearly impossible to avoid private equity. So the best thing you can do is educate yourself. Like if you see something changing in like the place where your mom lives or something, ask them if they've been recently bought because they don't actually have to tell you.
That's what I was wondering. So there's no law that says if you ask directly, they have to say yes or no?
So they're changing some laws around that, which is great that like you're gonna have to like send something out and let people know that you've changed. But like, yeah, and a lot of times the person at the front desk will be like, I don't know, I guess my paycheck comes from a different place.
When my mom was in the retirement village, it didn't occur to me to ask them what was going on or why they didn't have as many people on the staff as they did. I just was worried about her all the time. So this is I know we don't normally talk about stuff like this, and it's normally just celebrity gossip. I love you so much. Follow Meredith.
Meredith M. Lynch on TikTok and Instagram and all that good stuff. Except if you're Gwyneth Paltrow.
Gwyneth, don't be mad at me. Remember the last time we took that picture, I was sitting on your lap? You were such a sport. Put it in the comments who you think I should have as a guest. And be reasonable. Don't say
Harvey Weinstein.
Don't say Harvey Weinstein. And also, like and subscribe. Like it. Come on, this has been a jam-packed episode.
Oh my God, I feel like we kind of brought it, you guys.
We kind of brought the heat.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys liked it, and I hope you really did pay attention to the private equity stuff and everything Meredith says and does, and all the beefs that we'd love to have and read about. And thank you so much for watching Kathy Griffin Talk Your Head Off. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next Tuesday. And follow me also on Patreon and Substack and all the other socials.